ಅಭಿಷೇಕ್, ಇದು ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ?
ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್.
ಸರ್ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್, ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
ಅಭಿಷೇಕ್ ಅವರ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಸರ್.
ಅಭಿಷೇಕ್, ನೈಸ್ ಟು ಸಿ ಯು.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್, ತುಂಬಾ ದಿನ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಸರ್. ಹೌ ಆರ್ ಯು ಸರ್?
ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಹೆಂಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ?
ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಸರ್, ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಸರ್. ವರ್ಷನೇ ಆಯ್ತೇನೋ ಸರ್ ತಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಭೇಟಿ ಮಾಡಿ.
ಜಾಸ್ತಿನೇ ಆಯ್ತು.
ಸರ್,
COVID has paused everything.
sir.
Thanks to technology, at least we are able to see each other.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure. Okay, ಶುರು ಮಾಡೋಣ ಸರ್, ರಮೇಶ್ ಸರ್.
Yeah.
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೆಂಟ್ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆನಾ ಸರ್, ಶುರು ಮಾಡೋಣ ಸರ್? ಶಾಲ್ ವಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್?
Sure.
Okay, sir. Good evening, one and all. Gravity Science Foundation, Chamarajanagar, and Karnataka Science and Technology Academy, KSTA, Department of Science and Technology, Government of Karnataka, is jointly organizing online monthly science lecture series to popularize science in the society. Firstly, I would like to welcome today's speaker, Dr. S.M. Shivaprasad, sir. Welcome you, sir. And also, I would like to welcome Dr. Ramesh, sir, CEO, KSTA. Welcome you, sir. And Mr. Umesh, sir, from KSTA, members of Gravity Science Foundation, and all the participants to the session. Before going to the lecture session, I have the great pleasure of introducing Dr. S.M. Shivaprasad, sir, to the participants. Professor S.M. Shivaprasad, sir, was born in Bengaluru in 1957. He did his MSc and PhD in solid state physics from Karnataka University, Dharwad. He obtained his postdoctoral degree from IIT Delhi and University of Sussex, UK. Also obtained DSc from VSK University, Bellary. Mr. Shivaprasad, sir, worked as chief scientist and head surface physics and nanostructures group in National Physical Laboratory, New Delhi from 1985 to 2007. Coordinator, International Center for Material Science, JNCSR, Bengaluru from 2007 to 2017. Currently working as Director of Karnataka State Higher Education Academy, Dharwad since 2017. His fields of interest are surface science, thin films, and nanostructures of semiconductors, promotion of education in higher education institutions through teachers training programs of pedagogy, personality development, ICT, education research, outreach, design, and implemented faculty in training program for 1,800 GFGC teachers under KSHEA. Also trained several principals, librarians, and non-teaching staff. He has published more than 280 research papers in international journals, 20 in national journals, 240 conference presentation, delivered 445 invited talks, and authored 3 books. He has been awarded with Young Scientist Award from the President of India in 1992, Outstanding Scientist Award from CSIR NPL in 2005, Medal Lecture Award in 2006 from Materials Research Society of India, Lucknow, Superconductivity and Materials Science Prize from Materials Research Society of India in 2012, CNR Rao Oration Award in 2010, Dr. Raja Ramanna Karnataka State Government Senior Scientist Award in 2013, Distinguished Lectureship Award from Materials Research Society of India, IIT Bombay in 2016. He is recognized from many institutes like Indian Representative to International Union of Vacuum Science and Technology Applications, USA, Joint Secretary for Materials Research Society of India, MRSI India, Advisory Board of BEL Optoelectronics for the development of night vision devices, representative to the World Materials Research Institutions Forum, Japan, representative to Europe India Cooperation for Nanotechnology in Netherlands, HEC, State Level Advisory Board member of RUSA, member of LRC of Defense Materials Research and Development Establishment, Boys Cost Fellowship of DST Government of India, United Nations UNIDO Fellowship from Vienna, RAKCAM International
Abhishek,
Fellowship
start with
from... Sir, in 2 lines I will finish this, sir. Within 2 lines. From Saudi Arabia, National Merit Scholarship Government of India. Visiting positions at UNIDO, Fellow at National Institute of Standards and Technology, USA, Visiting Scientist at Rutgers University, USA, United Nations Fellow at Tohoku University, Japan. Mr. Shivaprasad, sir, also an accomplished cricket player, played Sussex Country and DDCA leagues. He represented its schools, colleges of Karnataka and Sussex University in cricket and table tennis. With this brief introduction, now I request Dr. S.M. Shivaprasad, sir, to take over the session. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Abhishek, for your kind words. It's always good to have friends introduce you, because they will not tell you all the bad things which I have done. They will tell about good things. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And thank you for giving this opportunity. And thanks to Ramesh, sir. He is always very encouraging, very supporting, and doing a lot of activities for promotion of science. Also, Umesh, I think Umesh is also there somewhere. Okay, so they are all taking a lot of interest, and with the help of and support of Abhishek and all the enthusiastic people, we can have some I mean, we should popularize science, because I think science is important. So, so many teachers, so many professors, everybody has bored me to death in my life. They've tortured me so many times. So whenever I get an opportunity to bore others, I don't miss the opportunity. And today I'm seizing this opportunity to all bore you to death for the next 1 hour or so. Okay. So what I wanted to do is, I wanted to share something which I missed as a student, because I'm hoping most of the people here are students, and I'm focusing my talk for the students, right? So I'm sure there are also other teachers and everything, but what is important for us is the students, because they are the future of the science in India. Very important. I just wanted to tell that what I wanted to say is what I actually missed as a student, because we all studied science. Okay, we all were students of science. We continue to be students of science. Abhishek shared that when I gave the topic, I said, students of science, Antakshna. He said that, sir, there will also be teachers there. I said, no, we all are students of science. Even today, I'm a student of science. We continue to be students of science, and we will remain as students of science. Okay, so what I wanted to do is share this experience with you, that how I missed my childhood and my student life of not enjoying science as much as you can do. So I'll share some of my feelings with you and show you some of the examples how people really enjoyed science. And we'll talk about that. So what I'll do is I want to share my PPTs. So please tell me if the PPTs are in good shape or not. Okay. Yeah. Are the PPT visible, Abhishek?
Yes, it is, sir.
Clear. Okay. Also, I wanted some videos to be on, because it's very difficult to talk when I'm not seeing anybody's face. So Abhishek, Matte Ramesh sir, Umesh sir, Matte yaryar sadhyano, please video on madkoli, so that I'll be able to see your face and give a talk. Otherwise, it's difficult to look at my own face and give the presentation. Okay. And the video on madkoli, sir, please. Yeah. Okay. And so that it also helps me. ನಿಮಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ನಿದ್ದೆ ಬರಕ್ ಶುರು ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ then I can also stop my lecture. Okay, so otherwise I won't know ನೀವು ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ನಿದ್ದೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಏನೋ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ. So that's why I would like to see your faces also. I see ಇದು ಯಾರು ಸರ್ ಇದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹೆಸರು ಏನು ಇದನ್ನ ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ.
ಉಮೇಶ್ ಸರ್, ಉಮೇಶ್.
ರೈಟ್ ಉಮೇಶ್ ಸರ್. ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಗಡ್ಡ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಕಾಣತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ something different. Okay, so ಇನ್ನೊಂದಿಬ್ರು, I think if I can see a couple of people on the video, it will be very nice. I request you to do that. Okay, so you see the topic. Very interestingly, the topic is pleasure of being a student of science. Okay, so I didn't say science student. Okay, there is a difference between science student and student of science. Okay, I'll talk about this a little bit later. As I said, student of science is all of us, including the old man like me and the young people who are watching here. All of us are students of science. So the pleasure, science pleasure, is that, do they go together? Another question iruthalva namage, because normally navella science antandre we thought that it is one of the most difficult subjects, very tough, very difficult, very boring. So the actual expressions will be like this, right? Science odadandre this is how you will feel. That's all we have felt as students, right? Yakaro bantapa subject. That's what we have struggled. And all our friends who have not studied science have left science and done other things, other better things, because they thought that physics and maths were difficult. Alva avella difficult ittane bere subject madidre hortu avaru bere subject interest ittu anta madidavaru tumba kadime. So you need to understand, science unfortunately in our education system or in our life has become an extremely boring thing, right? Look at these complications. You need to understand so many things. Square root of 1 by 3, e cube, e is equal to mc square. So many complications, 2 plus 2, mathematics, everything. So we feel that, we want to rest, right? Atara, we get that feeling. That is why you can see these two people, tale mele book ittondidane, innೊಂದು book ಮೇಲೆ ನಿದ್ದೆ ಹೊಡಿತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. So that is what the feeling of science is. But is science really like that? That's what I want to share with you. Let us discuss this. Okay, so you see, my friends, let me see if I can change my video. Yeah, first let me start with defining a few things, couple of things. One, what is the difference between science, technology and engineering? Because I think very difficult, people don't distinguish these three. Science andreno, technology andreno, engineering andreno, we don't distinguish this. Science ಗೆ technology ಅಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ, technology ಗೆ engineering ಅಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ. So there is some complication, but I want to define what I understand is the difference between science, technology and engineering. Science andre, the scientist is a person, okay, who is working very hard to understand something which he is curious about. He is not doing it because he gets a job or salary or anything of that. So he is doing because he is very curious to find out. So that person is called as a scientist. He is not doing it because it will be useful. Useful aguttappa, janake help agutte anta yosane madalla. Scientist doesn't think about it. He just does it like curiosity. It is like Bhimsen Joshi playing music, or Sachin Tendulkar batting, something of that sort. So it's just you do it for fun, you do it for curiosity, you just want to do it for some reason. Technology andre hangalla. Technology andre ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, they are always keeping an eye on the scientist. They're looking at the scientist and seeing what the scientist is doing. Yav phenomena, yav observation, yav graph, yav curve he has done anta heli. They take all those together and say, let me put all this together and make a mobile phone out of it. Right? Athara yaar yochane ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, to use the phenomena observed, okay, and then try to make something useful, a mobile phone or a pen or something of that sort, something useful, that person is a technologist, right? Is a technologist. But ultimately somebody has to make this pen. And that person who makes the pen is an engineer, right? So ultimately, you see, the concepts, the ideas, the curious things about how nature works. How nature works, another is the challenge for a scientist. So scientist puts these together and finds out some phenomena, some observation, just because he's curious. Okay, but technologist tries to use these concepts by scientists, and puts together and form something useful. That we call it as a technology, right? And ultimately, somebody has to make this. So, yellow disturbance audio le adon sub mute ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? Audio mute ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ?
Umesh sir.
Yes sir. Yeah, please mute ಮಾಡಿ. Okay, thank you. Yeah. So the engineer is somebody who actually does the product. So you see, in this scientific field, there are three important phases: the science, the technology, and the engineering. And all the three are important. Okay, idu important alla antalla, but But the most fundamental is the science. So science andre ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ I want to show this picture of scientists, okay, who are pure scientists who did not do anything because something is useful, right? So we have two very famous international scientists, okay, you can recognize who they are. Albert Einstein, which is because of his beautiful hairstyle, and then also Madam Curie, a wonderful lady who got 2 Nobel Prizes, one in physics and one in chemistry. So Madam Curie, and our own India, we have 2 scientists. I mean, of course, there are many more, but 2 whom we are all familiar with and who all worked in Bangalore. So it's very important. One is C.V. Raman and the other is Professor C. The living scientist right now is Professor C.N.R. Rao. So these are the scientists, okay? And let me distinguish by telling who are the technologists. See, look, these are the technologists. Yaru? Thomas Edison, Alexander Graham Bell, Nikola Tesla, Benjamin Franklin. These are the technologists. You can't call them as scientists. See, we confuse them. Sometimes we call them as scientists. In my view, these people should not be called as scientists. They should be called as technologists. Then ultimately engineers. Okay, there are so many engineers in the world, but 2 again well-known engineers in India are Sir M. Visvesvaraya and Bharata Ratna Abdul Kalam. So these are engineers. See, I want youngsters to understand the difference between science, technology, and engineering. The difference between C.V. Raman, okay, Thomas Edison, and Visvesvaraya. Okay, all are important, no doubt about that. So young students of science should start thinking whom they would like to follow, whether they want to become scientists or technologists or engineers. Annadana on the yochane madodu, I think, is terribly important. So scientist, what he does is he just tries to understand nature. Okay, how nature works. That is the main role of a scientist. Then he wants to find out whether he can do it something differently, how to understand. So that's why I said scientist means he does discovery. He discovers something which does not exist. He understood something which exists. He understood how it works. That is the scientist. A technologist does is he invents something or he innovates something. Okay, he innovates or invents. That is the role of a technologist. And then the engineer, he improvises something or improves something. He makes the product, right? So this is something I think young people should understand. Okay, there are some controversies in there are some overlap regions, etc., etc. But generally, this kind of understanding is necessary for people who want to pursue science. Okay, now let's start seeing. I mean, I am today focusing on the role of the scientists, right? Yaro, Albert Einstein, Madam Curie, C.V. Raman, C.N.R. Rao, and others, many others. So we'll talk of several of these scientists and see how they are different. As I said, let us see how you become a scientist or who becomes a scientist. So let's think about that. I think very important because they are the real students of science, or in other words, they are the students of nature. Okay, they try to understand nature, how nature works. And that is the biggest challenge. We don't know many things about how nature works, and that exploration to find out how this nature works is very important. Okay, now to see this beautiful width of science, the achievements of science, human achievements of science in the last hundreds of years, let us look at this beautiful girl who is sleeping outside the Google office. Okay, now I'll run this video. Just let's watch it for 2 minutes, and then you can see. Bottomly, you see here, you can see the scale bar. Okay, a scale bar which tells you the size. Now see, this is about 10 centimeter scale bar. This scale bar. Keep watching the scale bar, and also, if possible, you can read what is written up here. Also, what it is. So this video is called a smiling face. You must have seen this in your WhatsApp. It must have come in the WhatsApp. But anyway, the resolution is not so good. But please enjoy it for 2 minutes. Yeah. Okay. Let me see if I can start it. Okay. Right. Now the scale 1 meter. Now it is 10 meters. See, this is all human achievement. People are able to see this. You are able to imagine all this. 1 kilometer. You can go and take a picture of this one, of the whole Mountain View, California Bay. And then it's 100 kilometers now. 1,000 kilometers. So if you see the world from about 10,000 kilometers, this is how it will look. Okay, if you see from about 1 million kilometers, this is how the world is going to look. 10 million kilometers, look at it, where the earth is, it is small dot inside this. Then 100 million kilometers, you see the whole solar system. 1 billion kilometers, approximately the diameter of the solar system. And then 10 billion kilometers, 100 billion kilometers, you see the stars, the constellations. Okay, 1 trillion kilometers, comets, sun, look at the huge 1 light year. You can see the size of the sun, then 10 light years, so many stars, so many, etc. visible. Okay, 100 light years. See now 1000 light years. You know what a light year is? I don't have to tell you. It is the distance light travels in 1 year. We are at a rate of 3 lakhs kilometers per second. It has to travel. So 1 million light years. This is the size of the universe, and we have understood all this by just being this normal 5 feet, 6 feet human beings. Just being 5 feet and 6 feet human beings, we are able to see what is happening about 10 billion light years away from here. Then let's go. That is the size. This is the dimension. Okay. Now let's go back and see what our beautiful girl who was sleeping there on the lawns is doing. Okay. Let's go back. 10 light years, 1 light year, 1 trillion kilometers, 100 billion kilometers. Okay, 1 billion kilometers, right? So this is the achievement of science. See, look where we are able to see. Okay, by just sitting in Bangalore or in Dharwad or anywhere, you can see all these things. Then 10 kilometers. Now this is beautiful girl. We reached her 10 centimeters. Now let's get into our eyes and see what we are able to see. The smaller things. We saw the bigger things. Now let's see the smaller things. See, 1 millimeter, 100 micrometers. You cannot start seeing the white blood cells. 10 micrometers, the white blood cells, right? So now you see, you start